Welcome back to Joe's Son of Boxing. The heat is on. It is 32 degrees here where I am. I'm not a fan of the intense heat, but I hope you're enjoying it anyway. All right, let's talk about Tyson Fury because you do get people like Fury who are basically gobshites. They talk a lot of trash. They're disingenuous. They contradict themselves. Sometimes they're playing games. Sometimes they're trying to kid themselves. Um, but just once in a while, someone like a Fury will be interviewed and will talk a lot of absolute insightful sense that you really have to sort of think, well, why can't this person be like this all the time? Because this shows real intelligence, real kind of an emotional maturity, which you wouldn't necessarily, you know, associate with Tyson Fury, certainly not if his behaviour in the past is something to judge him by. But he gave an interview to Dev Sani, the great Dev Sandwich himself, and he said the following. He said, I'm in that relationship. I've been in love with boxing for a long time, from being a little boy, and I'm 34 now. I'm probably at the end of my career in the next few years. It's been a love-hate relationship. It's been toxic at times. When it's good, it's very good. When it's bad, it's very toxic. I don't just abandon things. I try and make things work, and that's where we are at the minute. We've been in this romantic relationship since I can remember, since I was a child, and now I'm a fully grown adult with a family of my own. It's like, do I abandon it or do I not? I wanted to walk away a lot of times, but it always drags me back. It's like a massive drug and an addiction. I know it's an addiction, and I'm an addictive person. Boxing is an addiction. It's not my best friend. It abuses me. When I come to this gym, it abuses my body, my mind, my soul. But afterwards, I feel like it takes me to ecstasy. Sound like anything else? Anyone ever taken any class A? Right. The rush is unbelievable. It gives me the biggest highs ever, but it also gives me the lowest lows as well. Boxing is more addictive than any drug ever. You can't let it go. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, wise words, very, very insightful. Here's someone who's got a very good, like I say, an insight into his own situation, which many people don't have. From the outside looking in, you can see with a lot of people, well, this is true, that is true, that's not true. But Fury has a grasp of where he's at. And I've always thought he's an intelligent man who allows his emotions and probably his mental issues, whatever they may be, however diagnosis he may have, to get the better of him. But when you get him on a good day, he's an intelligent guy. And I think this is extremely important for him to cling to. It would be a mistake if he sort of buried his head in the sand, which I'm sure he has done in the past, like all addicts. Because, let's be honest, he's not alone with regards to being addicted to boxing. But addiction is a mindset. It doesn't matter whether it's boxing, heroin, eating too many cream cakes, gambling, shopping, sex. It can be anything you can be addicted to. It's a mindset. It doesn't matter about the substance itself. And ultimately, as I've said before many, many times, I worked for many years with people with addiction issues, and you have to replace that substance with something positive. If you're giving up heroin, crack, alcohol, whatever it is, you've got to replace it with something else. Because when you lose it, it is kind of like a bereavement. It feels the same. And Fury will have to find something to take the place of boxing, which is not easy to do, not by a long shot. But I think, in fact, I know that the fact that he has that insight, that he can tell where he's at, means he's halfway there. Because if you recognize what your situation is, if you see the reality of it, and you take personal responsibility, and don't blame others, and don't, and hold your hands up and say, okay, what do I do next? And you reach out for help, which is easier said than done, because a lot of people, pride gets in the way, or they feel weak or whatever. If you can do all those things, the battle's half won. So even though I've been very critical and very sort of scathing about Fury in the past, with good cause, I don't take anything back. But I really do wish him the very best if he decides that he wants to get out of boxing but can't. And a lot of fighters who've made sometimes they fight on for money, sometimes they fight on for glory. Whatever the case may be, it's essentially we all live lives of learned behaviour. And for Tyson Fury, I think this is certainly true. In his case, it's boxing with other. I mean, it's not a coincidence that people whose parents were addicts become addicts, or whose fathers were abusive towards their mothers end up abusing their own girlfriends or wives or whatever. It's learned behaviour. It's all learned behaviour. As for the the notion of the addictive gene or whatever they call it, I'm not too sure about that, but I wouldn't dismiss the idea. Because he says, it's like a romance. Do I abandon it or not? Interesting use of the word abandon. Oh, okay. Almost like you're abandoning a lover, or something that's been good to you but is abusive, and And of course, you can, if you're a victim of domestic violence, you can be addicted to that. I mean, there are certain words he uses which I've heard women who've been abused by their husbands use. But anyway, just a few thoughts about this. I think this is a very, very interesting, very honest version of Tyson Fury, and I wish we had more of it. And I know a lot of people have said, well, will he even go through with the Usyk rematch? And of course, they'd also say, well, if you're talking about retirement, you might as well, you're halfway there to retiring anyway. So I don't know. We'll see with Fury. You never know with Fury, do you? But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this, about Fury, where he's at, where you think he might be at. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. I always say that, but I mean it. Please do help the channel out and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Very interesting subject, this. I'm looking forward to reading what you got to say. Bye for now.